Welcome to the Python learning session. Today, we'll create two functions in Python. First one is how many, and second is biggest. These are related to animals. Now, let's go to the first. Let's go to the first exercise. Consider following expression where we have animals. It's a dictionary, and it has three members A, B, and C. For A is aardvark, B is a baboon, C is a coati. Now, since these are all lists, we'll add another key called D and assign to that as a donkey, and then assign dog and dingo to the key D. Then we'll write a procedure to see how many how many numbers of values associated with dictionary. That is, how many values are there in a dictionary. We'll write a function for that. So let's begin. Now we'll just type it the function here, that is donkey, and we'll add those things there. Now let's write a function called define, and the function is how many, and it's a dict. And let that be a dictionary. And now think about how we can return the length of the total number of the values in a dictionary. Not only the number of lists, but all the members of the list, and sum them up and return that. How do we do that? Think about it. For this, we'll use a simple function called length. And then what we'll do is we'll sum. And what do we sum? We'll sum the adic values and put that in a list. We'll sum the adic values and put that in a list, and then we'll count the length of that list, and then we'll go ahead and return that. Now once we have this, what we do is we need to return, we need to execute, or we need to call this function called how many, and pass a variable called animals there. And we get 6, and that's exactly what we need. Now move on to another exercise called biggest. Here we have a simple problem where we have animals as a dictionary, and we add D as a donkey, and we append a few things like a dog and dingo to that list. This time we write a procedure called biggest, which is return a key corresponding to the entry with the largest number of values associated with it. If there is more than one such entry, return any one of the matching keys. So how do we do this? Now let's start with the with this data set where we had the animals as defined earlier, and then let's write a function called def biggest, and then let's write a query function called biggest value, and it should be 0, and then what we need to do is we need to create a biggest key, and biggest key will be obviously empty because we don't know the biggest key, so we'll just put an empty string, and for each key we'll iterate through the each of the values in the dictionary, that is for key in a tick dot keys. So do you know what a dict keys does? Do you know what a dict keys does? It think about it. It iterates through the keys of the dictionary, not values, but there are two parts. One is key and value. It iterates through the keys of the dictionary. That's what a keys does. Now let's iterate through the just keys, not values. Then if if length of the a dictionary, we'll just call the values using the keys, and if it is bigger than biggest value, that is biggest value, then we'll say that we'll apply the biggest value to the we'll assign biggest value length of the a dict keys, and we'll simply assign big key to the key. Then what we need to do is we need to return the biggest key. Now after we do that, we'll just call the animals, and let's see what we get. D. Now D has a largest number of values, so we return D. So let me quickly summarize what we learned today. We learned about two things. First of all, we learned about how many function, and we learned about biggest. How many function counts the number of values in a dictionary, while biggest gives out the key that belongs to the largest item with the most number of values. And for that we use the different functions as length, sum, and for loop. We did the for loop, and also we did the if. So that's all for today. I will see you in the next learning session. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.